Yeah, rising still. Okay. Yes, why something to be done wrong and stupid, True Brit News, and what I'm rephrasing as ARC, I'm adding to it ARC of the Moors. I like that. ARC of the Moors. So it's not just ARC. I'll be on Renaissance Coalition, but it's ARC of the Moors. I'll be on Renaissance Coalition of Moors. I like that a lot. And that's Moor spelled W-M-O-O-R and M-M-U-U-R. Both. I'll say more about that later. Maybe not in this post. So today, I wasn't too sure what I was going to talk about, but it is clear and I've said it in the recent posts that I've put up in I think it might have gone up on 2nd of July. In those two posts, I say more about, I don't call it envy and jealousy, I talk about blaming and shaming, which are responses to so today, and I think that envy and that jealousy is growing. It's growing rapidly. The more that Moors know, and everybody else knows about who the Moors were and are still around today, and what it is that they're responsible for. I'm rabbiting off. I'm sort of going all over the place. I'm not being specific. Okay. The envy and the jealousy. Therefore, the blaming and the shaming. So, what's going on in terms of news? I think there's a NATO meeting today. I don't know how long it's going to be going on for. And there's been lots of these types of meetings, NATO, G7, and so on, where Trump turns up and actually says things, that the G7 in particular, but also I think there's a G10 in there, which includes some African and Asian nations. I think there's one or two in the G7 as well. I think India's in the G7. But the G10, more countries from the Asian subcontinent, which is basically, which are countries that are an extension, really, of the British Empire, that is being dismantled by Donald Trump. He's changing the world order that was the old world order, and moving it into what would be described as a new world order. But it's not the new world order as described by the creators of the old world order. And that's, as I believe, why there's been a reluctance for peace. And every time we talk about peace, every time there seems to be a peace, either negotiations are taking place or something that is agreed, memorandums of understanding and so forth, agreement, ceasefires, and as soon as they're made, they're broken. And everybody's, again, blaming and trying to shame people who are not responsible for being responsible for disrupting peace processes, you know what I mean, and allowing memorandums of understanding to marinate and to grow into ceasefires and therefore peace. Stop the fighting, basically. Nobody seems, enthusiastic about that. See that boy there? I don't know if you can see him. He was giving me the eyeball, see, so I'm just giving it him back. I'm not in them blood clot thing, you know. I'm not in a nothing right now. You understand me? And I think that's I can't do it. I'm not having it. There's a fraud taking place in front of everybody's face, and this is what I'm saying about peace. You know, people are expecting peace from the people that have been warred against, and not just for a minute. You know, not just for 90 years. You know, under Elizabeth II, literal rulership. You know, but before that, there's been this notion that what is this notion of? That Moors are not Moors, and the people that are claiming or comprehending and stating and re-establishing themselves as Moors, they're remembering who they are, that to blame and tell them that they're not Moors. But nobody's coming up to claim being who the Moors are. Nobody wants to say who they are anymore. So that's throwing me off track a little bit. You know, foreign, belligerent occupiers holding the Moors to hostage, and they've been holding them to hostage and making them prisoners of war, literally, because the war was lost around about 1492. When Christopher Columbus didn't discover shit, he knew what was what. Oh, it's not me. I don't know him at all. He knew it was there. He was there on a mission. The mission is not clear, but it might have something to do with who sent him, which was Isabella and Ferdinand, I think it was, that sent him over there, either to seek support, because at the same time Moors were being run out of Europe. So between 1492, the 1500s, 1600s, Moors were being exiled to various parts of the what we now call the Commonwealth, but also different parts of the Americas and the Caribbean. And just to say that the Caribbean is in the Americas. I'll say more later. Till the next time, may your ERP and your spirituality remain strong. I'm gone.